right, folks, we're going to bring up our next founder or presenter. We have Jack Rafer, who's the head of data science at ADA Intelligence. Jack, give me 1 second and I'll pass you the presenter role.
Perfect.
You should be able to share your screen now, sir.
I am. All right. Can you hear me okay and see the screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So let me introduce you, AIA Intelligence. And what I want to talk to you about today is that better data leads to better skills, which will lead you to a better life. So this is AIA. Hello. And it's an artificial intelligence built for one sole purpose. And that is to help you measure social and emotional skills. A big fact of life that they've discovered already is that the better your social emotional skills, the better your life outcomes. These are completely related to one another, and we already know this. The problem, and the big problem right now, and all of these organizations from the World Bank to the OECD have already signaled it, is that we need a reliable and accessible tool to be able to measure social emotional skills. We're great at measuring everything else, but social emotional skills are much more difficult to measure by themselves. In other words, we need better data. So we put together our team of amazing people with a lot of experience in many areas. And we actually took together thousands of studies on social emotional skills and psychometry. We added the magic of machine learning, and we can talk about that more later because it's a lot more complex. And we're actually building assessments that have a 95% or higher reliability for measuring social and emotional skills. Our solution itself is we built a software as a service assessment platform with a business-to-business model. We have user-based pricing starting about $60 per person per year. And you can build your own assessments because if you want to measure particular skills that are important to you, you can build your own assessments. Everybody that does an assessment gets a personalized report. And you can actually run unlimited assessments because it's important for us that you are able to measure today and you're able to measure again in 2 weeks, 2 months, or 6 months to see how far you've improved on those particular skills. Today, we're able to measure over 60 different specific skills, and it's going to be about 100 by the end of the year. The platform also allows companies and organizations to get all the collected data, and they'll see what areas they need to work on, what areas they're very strong on, and exactly what they need to do and train. We are very, very committed to ethics, and because of that, we actually won last year the GSA Award for Safe and Trustworthy AI. We're also part of the Dohe Global Accelerator in London, and we're part of the BIDS FairLAC, which is the lab for the use of ethical and responsible use of AI in Latin America. Currently in the market, we're in Latin America, the States, and parts of Europe. We're both in English and Spanish. And I really hope you can join me to have better data that can help you build better skills and lead you to a better life. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Jack. No, thank you so much. And under time as well. Not easy to do, but thank you so much. Great presentation. We'll open it up. We'll start with Shubham, and then we'll go to Thomas.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Nice presentation. The question I have is how many enterprises are using your product right now, and what kind of results are they seeing after measuring these skills that you've mentioned?
There's quite a few of them at the moment because we've been running tests for a while already as well. Well, we ran tests for a while before we finished up with the product. And the kinds of results are very interesting. People are getting really impressed because this is not something that's giving you a broad sense of what your skills are. It's being very specific. Just to give you a very example, it's not just empathy. It actually measures in different ways. Cognitive empathy, which is your ability to see what others are feeling and to perceive it, and affective empathy, which is the way to connect with other people's feelings. And this is just to give you one example. So the fact that they're able to see the specifics and actually the customized report gives them specific things that they can do to improve those particular skills is actually helping companies actually train and hire the right training for this, and not just hoping that the training works, because generally they hire great trainers, they do the training, people say, oh, we love the training, but they don't know if it actually worked or not. Now they actually know if they're actually improving all kinds of social emotional skills, from communication to leadership, etc.
Okay, so what data points are collected from the employees if somebody is being measured, like tested with this product?
So
What kind of
we are
data
actually,
points?
so our AI, what it does, it builds very high accurate assessments. So they get sent the assessment. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to build it. And they actually just do the assessment. It's actually very easy and very quick. And we collect that information. It gets summed up in the ways that we've actually built the scoring system and sends them back the report.
Thanks, Shubham, for your question. We'll go to Thomas.
Hey, Jack, interesting presentation. I just say instinctively, I'm a bit wary of this concept of kind of quantifying social and emotional skills automatically. And I guess it kind of makes me worry that you're kind of creating a homogenous ideal of behavior. What would you say to someone like me who has those kind of concerns?
Well, there is a lot of background regarding measuring all kinds of things. Originally personality, and I'm talking about scientific, like for example, Ocean and Hexaco, which are the big scientific models, and we know it works. And it's been used for a very, very long time. The problem is that it's very complex to actually do it because it takes a lot of professionals and a lot of people going there and doing interviews, etc. So that's what we did with our AI. We put everything together in a way that it actually goes out very easily for other people. And again, because we're measuring so many different, very, very specific skills, we're not putting people together in bins. We're not telling you. So, for example, we're not going to tell you, oh, it's bad that you have a low sociability skill. That's not necessarily a problem. The thing is that you're going to struggle with this part of life. And if you have a high sociability, this is going to help you. And again, this is not good or bad. Being an extrovert or being an introvert is not a bad thing. It's just something that is going to give you some advantages in some cases and some disadvantages in other cases. And that's the kinds of things that we just need to measure. So we're not actually putting together people in boxes. We're actually just telling you how, from the central point, either higher than average or lower than average, you are on a particular skill compared to everybody else.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Thomas. We'll wrap it up with Walter.
Thanks, Thomas. Question. Oh, sorry, not Thomas. Question for you, Jack.
Sure.
The 2 questions actually. Who are you competing with today, as far as like who's serving a similar service or product for enterprise customers? And then the second question I have for you is, are you familiar with Netflix's Keeper test, as far as their employee kind of yes or no kind of who do you want to, who is there, it's something they use for kind of culling employees, as far as they ask managers who could you do without if you had to fire someone today, and kind of it seems like data points like this would be useful for kind of decision making. But anyway, my main question, who are you competing with? First question, basically.
Yeah, so competition, there's actually a few. They probably have a different perspective on social emotional skills than we have, mostly because for the very longest time, and this is something that we've debated for a long time, we've actually confused a lot of what we call personality is not personality. It's actually skills, because if you're, for example, if you're a responsible person, that has nothing to do with, it's not something that's embedded in you, because a lot of people can change from being irresponsible to responsible and the other way around. So these are all skills. And the fact that we're able to just distill them to the very, very basic skills helps actually make a difference, because you can be very disciplined and yet very irresponsible, and vice versa, because these are 2 completely different skills. Although they might have certain correlation, they are different skills. As for the Netflix one, yes, I've heard of it. And yes, here's the thing. Yes, you could use data points like this to actually make decisions for hiring, firing, who to keep and who to do. But this is also going to help you build the right teams. So for example, the skills that you need to be a salesperson are completely different than the skills that you need to be a customer service agent. And they're completely different from the skills that you need to be to manage a team. And they're completely different from the ones that you need to be an entrepreneur. So if we can actually distill them, and again, I'm not saying I know which those skills are, because it's going to depend on what you're doing and what you're selling. But at the end of the day, if you have all these data points, it's going to help you make much better decisions. But the most important thing it's going to allow you to train your team to get it to the social emotional skill level that you need them to have.
Thanks, Jack.
Very cool, Jack. Very sci-fi. I like it a lot. Congrats. Yeah, congrats on everything you guys have built.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna